What has it been like me coming back from that? Like, what has the experience been like for you between the two of us?
I noticed it pretty immediately. Like when you walked in, you just had like this very calming sense about yourself. Mm-hmm. It's brought us closer together. I remember you saying like, I just love you. I feel like you had this very calming sense about yourself.
What does that do for you? Like when you see I come back and I'm calm and that anger and that rage is gone.
Yeah.
What does that do for you in the relationship?
Welcome back to another week of the Late Night Date Night podcast with my husband Sergio and me. Today we are going to be talking about Sergio's medicine journey. He went on his medicine journey trip about 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Which was in Nashville, Tennessee, and we've had some time to catch up, the two of us at home, but I'm sure there's a lot of curious souls out there wondering about what you learned and the whole experience, so I'm excited to hear about it.
It was, I don't even know how to put it into words. Like I went back and listened to my transcripts, because when you're down there, one of the things that they do during the journey is they put a microphone on just like we have here, and they record everything. And then you take that audio and you can upload it into AI and it'll spit out the transcript. But one of the reasons that I wanted to go after listening to that, especially, was just like there's all of these things that I was trying to just like let go of. I felt like it was this embodiment of this new version of me and all this work that I've done, and the release of all of these old things, old patterns, old habits, old stories in my life. And you go down to this place in Tennessee, and it's 3 days. So you arrive on a Friday, and there's a dinner, and there's conversations, and there's a lot of just setting intentions about what the weekend's going to look like. And then the second day, you sit down and you create like this. I don't even know how to describe it, but we'll have the editors put a picture in here of like what it looks like. And it's this thing where you set an intention on almost like a cutting board. Like you have seashells that you can put on there. You have sand. You can have rocks. And every time you set something down, it sets the intention. So I put 4 rocks around so that I was grounded, right, in the world, and then 4 feathers, which allowed me to like be up in the sky and to think. Mm-hmm. And then I took a seashell and I put 5 little beans in there, and then I covered it up. And the story goes that if you put like cornmeal around it, cornmeal represents protection. So I put it around there. And then later in the day, you sit down and you start down into your medicine ceremony. And that entails, you setting an intention. They do like this cleansing of you with Palo Santo, and like they take these wings from an eagle or like a bird, and they like cleanse you of all of this. And then you sit down and you take your first dose, and the first dose of psilocybin, MDMA, and you wait about 20 minutes, and then you come back around and you do another dose of psilocybin and MDMA. And then once you feel it, you raise your hand and they take you upstairs and they put you in your bed, and you put an eye mask on, and you put your noise canceling headphones on, and they have a curated playlist, and then they inject you with ketamine. Wow. And this lasts for like 7 hours. Mm-hmm. And I came out of that, and the next day you have this experience where you talk about your experience, and then you have them go through this tobacco ceremony. Mm-hmm. Where they blow tobacco up your nose. Mm. And it's very like, it opens up your mind, and it's very grounding, and you get all these different lessons. And then that night it wraps up with you writing either something that you want to let go of or something that you want to bring more of in your life on a piece of paper, and you burn it.
Yeah.
And I've just noticed, because I've fucked around with drugs a lot in the past, right? At Coachella, and just being able to experiment with everything. But there's something sacred and special about the intention behind all of this. That going into this really just, it changed a lot within me, and I know it's changed a lot in how I see our marriage and how I see myself as a dad, and definitely as an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Do you remember after you took your first dose, like how you started to feel?
So I know just from previous experiences, there's this come up phase where you can feel it coming on, in the sense that like you start to get a little euphoric. Mm-hmm. There was no like nausea or anything like that, because they gave us a nootropic earlier in the day. And then all of a sudden I just remember being like, okay, I'm very happy, I'm very light, I'm very just like energetic. And I was one of the first ones, I was like, it's time. It was one other buddy and then me. I was like, hey, I'm not even trying to play. I was like, let's go. And so I just remember that being that. And it was just like this really calming sense of just like this presence of like I don't even know how to say it. Like it felt like, it was definitely like, it felt like God was there.
Yeah.
And it was just this very calming and exciting place to be.
Yeah.
There's no anxiety, there's so much peace. And I think the biggest word that I can say is just like, when it was coming up, it was like massive curiosity.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you were in the entire experience, did you feel like you saw God?
Yeah, I think I felt God and I heard him speak to me. And there's a lot of moments where when I go back and read the transcript and I listen to the transcript, it was a conversation between me and him, back and forth. And the conversation was a lot about what is real, questioning reality, what is time, the constructs of time, and him being like, you've created these time constraints, I don't play by those.
Yeah.
So you can have whatever you want in your life, you're the one who's limiting that. And there's also this piece of him just like showing me things like you and the boys and my friends and like what's possible. So he was 100% present.
So interesting when it comes to like this idea of time and what is reality. Because I
Yeah.
feel like we often have those thoughts, but it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to like describe them or put them into words.
It is. And I mean, the thing is like, this is one of the most beautiful things that I took from it is you can build whatever you want. The only person that's getting in the way is you.
Yeah.
Your own limitations, your own beliefs, your own stories. And on top of that, when you're getting ready to do something that you've never done, you have to walk on this path of faith. Now, whether that's God or Allah or Buddha or whatever the fuck it is that you believe in, there has to be this place of you believe in what you're doing, even though you've never done it before.
Right.
And so for me, being able to see that like, I'm the one playing by my own, my rules, thinking that I can do it by myself. But every time I've ever let go and trusted this voice that now I realize has been God the entire time, my life just accelerates. And I've been trying to control this game for so long, everything in my life.
Yeah. Well, it's hard because I feel like the more you try to control certain things, the more you think you actually have control to actually do the thing instead of just like letting go and letting it happen as it's supposed to.
Yeah. And that was a big message for me too, that it was almost like a directive. It was like, I felt God being like, you can either walk the path that I'm going to show you and follow through on this plan that I have for you. And there's going to be challenges along the way because those are required for you to build the endurance and the stamina, the perseverance and the faith to lean on me when you can't lean on yourself.
Right.
And so when we try to control things, we believe that our path, our destiny, everything that we're trying to do, we know the right way. And so we create unnecessary problems. We're still going to have to deal with the other ones that are going to get us to where we want to go. But these ones are the ones that we create. And it's in the creation of these that's why things take so fucking long. Because we get in the way.
Yeah. It sounds like almost you were able to kind of like separate yourself from the ideas or like the construct of what is life. And you were able to just like trust that everything was going to work out and kind of like get out of your own way.
Yeah, I sound like a girl that went to Coachella for the first time and took a little too much MDMA, and she's like, my whole life has changed.
Yeah.
But it has changed, and it's been just this massive perspective shift. And the one thing, I keep saying the one thing, there's like 1,000 fucking things. A big revelation for me was towards the end of it. The people that were leading it, one of the questions we had was like, do people purge? Like, do people throw up?
Yeah.
And he was like 1 in 50, not with this protocol. Well, I apparently like to play the odds, and I was the 1 in 50. And I'm listening back to my transcript, and you can hear all of this energy build and build and build. And I'm trying to control the situation now. Why do you control Lizzie? Why do you try to hold her back? Like, let her be free. Let her be free. Let her be free. And this is God talking to me, and I'm speaking. It's like, let her be free. And I've realized I've tried to control my business. I've tried to control you because I couldn't control myself. I've tried to control every situation, and I've tried to carry the weight of everybody thinking that it's my fucking responsibility to do it all. And so I'm trying to control. And that's led to a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of frustration, doubt, insecurities. And it was in that moment that I purged, that I realized that all of that energy I've been holding on to came out.
Yeah.
And I let it all go. And it just hasn't been there since.
It's insane because I 100% recognize a difference or like a shift in you as well. I feel like the anger isn't as present as it was before in certain situations. And I don't know, it's crazy how all of that like just symbolizes the letting go of those emotions.
What has it been like me coming back from that? Like, what has the experience been like for you between the two of us?
Yeah.
What have you noticed?
I feel like we've had a lot of growth in the last maybe like 6 months or so as a couple. And I feel like this experience has just kind of helped us grow closer together too. It was a little weird for me too when you first came home and you're like, I had this amazing experience, and I'm like, just like, I don't know what or how it went, like, because I wasn't there. And so there's a lot of like unknown, but I feel like it's brought us closer together. I remember you saying like, I just love you. There was like a lot of love for each other and our family and what we're building. So I feel like it brought us closer together, which has been fun.
Yeah. It allowed me to see you for the first time, like truly see who you are. I didn't realize how much I have been like carrying just like stuff from my past, like getting cheated on in high school, getting cheated on in college by girls. And like, I can act tough and say it doesn't bother me. And in many ways it doesn't bother me. But I think the one thing that I never really healed from was this ability to fully let go and just expose myself to you. Because it was always one of those things where I could, if I just gave you just enough, right, we would feel close. But if I gave you too much, then I'm fully exposed. And being able to fully see, like, in that journey, just that your heart is 100% pure. God showed me you're 100% pure, and that I can let go and fully expose myself to you, and that the only way for us to have this deep connection, right, spiritually, intimately, physically, is for me to let go. It wasn't you holding us back; it was me. And to see that, and then to be able to come back and be like, okay, I'm never going to be perfect, but I'm so grateful for you. And I think gratitude has been the biggest focus, because I see, and you can call pureness as like God, or you can call pureness as just like, your soul is pure. And the boys' souls are pure. And for being able to see it for the first time, I came back to this place being like, I have everything I need in life.
Such a beautiful spot to be in too, to have like pure gratitude and love for our family.
Yeah.
For me, when I haven't gone through the medicine journey, like, I don't know, I also feel somewhat of that resistance to let myself fully be seen to you, for fear of being judged, you know? And
what do you feel like you're holding on to that you, and you don't have to get specific, but like, what are you holding on to that you're afraid to let me see?
I don't know. I think there's just like certain parts of me that sometimes I get like a lot of what you're saying, I feel like resonates with me, in just the sense of like me trying to control everything in every situation and everyone around me, or like what people think about me, and not just truly like letting go and just being, to create that deeper intimacy. Because I do feel like we are even more connected now than we were on our wedding day, but now I'm like curious if like a medicine journey would help me just almost like break through that seal. But
I think it's definitely the way that I approach this whole thing is I never wanted the medicine to be the dependency.
True.
And so you wrote me a beautiful note that I got to open up when I got down there. And you know that is one of my love languages, is just like words of affirmation. And it was just this amazing note. And in it was just, you said something like, you've done so much work on yourself. I'm so happy that you get to have this experience. And you do a lot of work on yourself, right? Whatever that looks like in your way. And our ways are different.
Right. True.
And I think if you feel like you're doing this work and you're constantly doing it and you're in this place and you're asking yourself questions and you're being curious and then you still feel called to do it, then you should absolutely do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's a disassociative, which means you can take your ego and your pride out of it and you get to just see things for what they are.
Yeah.
Your marriage, your childhood, the boys, the current reality. And it allows you to look at them without any judgment and then make decisions on what you want to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really important piece. Like, our experiences don't have to look exactly the same.
No.
Or anyone else's out there. You can still find true meaning through like reflection and meditation or dance or whatever that might look like, or doing all of those things and taking it to the next step with like a medicine journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a moment that like a specific moment that you've noticed a pivot in me since I've been back?
I noticed it pretty immediately. Like when you walked in, you just had like this very calming sense about yourself. And we were obviously like really excited to see you. And, you know, when you were going through the whole ceremony and things like that, we didn't get a ton of time to talk to each other. Once you came out of it, I think you texted me that like everything was good. And so I felt better, of course, after I heard from you. And then we got to talk a little bit after your medicine journey, and the whole ceremony. But other than that, I feel like we didn't get a ton of time, except for like you were just like, I love you so much, and excited to like talk to you and see you. And so I feel like you had this very calming sense about yourself. And
what does that do for you? Like when you see I come back and I'm calm and that anger and that rage is gone.
Yeah.
What does that do for you in the relationship?
Yeah. Well, I think environment is just everything, right? Like if I'm stressed and I'm bringing in that like type of energy into the home, like it 100% shows up in the boys, and I'm sure you feel it as well. And so when you walk in and you have like this different sort of energy about yourself, it just brings a different energy to our home. And it's really interesting to me to think too about where we were this time last year compared to this time this year. And I know like the boys are a year older, but I remember Luca like when you were traveling a bunch, like twice a month or whatnot, you would come home and Luca would get all like frazzled, and now you come home and Luca is like, you're like his best friend. And so it's really cool to just see how things have shifted. And I don't know if that's exactly like, if that's the one reason to do with how, you know, Luca plays into you, but I do feel like that definitely contributes.
Yeah. It was having him come up in my medicine journey, not so much Enzo, because Enzo, you know, he's just so young still. But having Luca come up, it was one of the moments where I wasn't validating myself enough that I was a good husband. I wasn't validating myself enough that I was a good father, good man, good entrepreneur. And I realized that like the standard that I set for myself was so fucking high that if anybody else was trying to live up to that standard, they would break, which means I was breaking. And it was this immediate, just like, I hear myself in there being like, dude, you're a fucking good guy. You're a good husband, you're a good father, you're doing a great job. And just like me to being able to say that, it allowed me to just be free and just like let go.
Yeah.
And now when I'm playing with the boys and they're doing things, or, you know, Luca's being a toddler and he's, you know, throwing shit in the toilet and he won't put his pajamas on and he tells me the lotion is lava or whatever the fuck it is that is just like testing our patience. I don't get as frustrated. Not that I don't get frustrated. I don't get as frustrated. And I see him as just like this little soul that is just exploring the world. And I have stewardship over creating and cultivating a situation that allows him to thrive, to mess things up, but to make space for all of his emotions. And so I think a lot of this has been me just being able to open up my heart to you and to the boys and create the conditions in the home that allows, I believe, all of us to thrive. Because I know that what I do is going to lead the home.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. It has a massive impact. So do you.
It does.
Right? But I can only control me. So if I can control what I'm doing, it's going to lead the home, then I'm going to do whatever I can. And so I'm glad that you were able to see just like that those moments and that pivot, and to hear it kind of from your perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've just expressed like a ton of love towards us, and just like this, I feel and I see the sense in you of like, you're not gripping on so tight to everything. You're just kind of like letting go, and it's helped me also like let go. I feel like you've been my mirror as I was talking to you.
What did you say this before we got on here?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about a certain situation, and I was like, well, you were my oracle yesterday. And because something that Sergio posted on his Instagram story was all about like letting go and just trusting the process, and kind of, I think it was about like putting yourself out there, and things like that. And it just totally resonated with me, because I feel like I've been getting that message in a few different spots. And so it was just this way of you kind of popping up to be like, hey, let go.
That's the beautiful part about a marriage, is that we become direct reflections of one another. And so a lot of times we're going through the same thing, it just feels different.
Yeah.
And you get to hold up a mirror to the other person so that they can see it, not from a judgmental place, just from like, hey, I love you, I want you to have this too.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of the greatest parts about this journey, is like my commitment was I want to be able to, I just want to be able to lead us and like guide us. And so I'm glad to hear that you are getting things from it as well.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's the intention of it, is if you are in control of if you are in control of your own personal growth, and you know that's going to impact your wife and your husband and your kids, well then it's on you. You have the responsibility to take ownership of that and to do it.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Truth bomb.
Yeah. You think
Nailed it on the head.
do you think you'll ever explore this?
I don't know. It makes me nervous a little bit.
What about it makes you nervous? Letting go and like releasing control to all of it?
Yeah, probably releasing control to the drugs. I don't know. It makes me nervous. And also like watching some of the documentaries, and you see like this group of people all in a circle, and they're just like throwing up into these big buckets.
Well,
and
that's
I don't know.
That's a different medicine experience, right?
I know.
You're also the type of person who like, you'll get a cut on your hand, and then before you know it, you're like, we got to go to the ER. I think I have an STD in my hand. It's like, you cut your hand with a knife.
I don't know about
that.
that.
I don't know. That wasn't even like
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say.
I don't know about that, but I think it's more about the control and be like, I don't know. Am I going to be okay? Am I going to die?
Oh, I had that moment.
Yeah. Did you?
I had that moment in there where I was like, what is real? I was like, because I didn't know what was real and what not wasn't. There's a point where I was like, all right, well, I think I fucking cooked it a little too hard. Apparently, we're not going to be coming back from this one. I'm going to be stuck here forever. And then the song changed, and I was like, this is amazing. So
That's good to know.
Well, I'm glad. I think the biggest thing that the reason I wanted to share this is just how much doing your own personal work can impact a marriage.
Yeah.
And so whether that's medicine journey, whether that's meditation, working out, a combination of any of it, being able to do it and having your significant other support you in it, knowing that it's going to have a ripple effect amongst the entire family, I think that's huge.
Yeah. The ripple effect has been pretty cool. And kind of unexpected, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, because you do your work and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
I better let go of some of these old things that are just keeping us in the same spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's been really beautiful to see you just go through this entire process and have this experience, because I know you've been looking forward to it for like so long.
Yeah. I fully intend to go back down again
Yeah.
later this year, whenever that time comes.
Cool.
But until then, just gonna be rocking it here at home.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in to another podcast. If you like it, share it with somebody. If you want to learn more about the medicine journey, come hit us up on social media at Lizzie Ray, at Sergio Nazaro. Until the next late night, date night podcast, take care. Peace.